bring it back. That's all you get. Just one.
Yeah,
If he reaches, just knock it off the table and step on it.
The pineapple's a win.
Yeah. Yo, let's start it up. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom Podcast with your host, Nelson.
I'm Ian.
Ed.
All right, we are all here. Now, I want to point out something that hurts my feelings, Ian. Hurts my feelings.
Hurts your feelings.
Last episode, I believe he said he was going to pay for our tickets to the Flower Moon. Remember that?
Oh,
right?
I recall that.
Yeah.
Wait, was there like a deal?
That was a deal. We shook on it, and then
For what? If what?
you said that you would just, you were going to pay for the tickets. I don't remember the reasoning behind it, right?
I'm sure we could play it back.
There was at least definitive proof of a group outing to go see the movie.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
We all shook hands. We looked each other in the eyes. We cried a little bit, and then we're like, we're going to go together.
And then I distinctly remember yesterday you bitching about it being a 3.5 hour movie.
Of course I'm going to bitch about
As like your way of saying, I'm not going to fuck
No.
I interpreted it as that. I was like, okay.
All right.
All right,
so,
fuck me.
So, misinterpretation. Of course I'm going to bitch, but of course I'm going to go. I'm still going to go and see it. And I'm only joking, of course, but yeah, no, I'm not. No, you fucking hurt our feelings. I had my favorite, I was going to match Ian. We had matching outfits and everything.
No, we didn't.
Yes,
What
we
the fuck
did.
are we going to do?
Yes, we did.
We going to dress up as Native Americans, get our ass kicked? Like, what the fuck is your plan? No, there was no matching. It's a 1920s piece.
Bro, I
set
bought
in
us
Oklahoma.
I bought us Redskin jerseys. We were going to go and sit down and watch.
No, we did not. Nope.
But have you ever seen those
This is not a
conversations
plan.
with like the Apaches, the Redskins, and all of those, where they have all these people trying to have that name removed
And now they're
from
trying to-
various things, military stuff and sports teams, and the actual Native Americans themselves are like, yeah, no, we like it. It shows some level of appreciation and acceptance of our culture. But then you have all the outraged people being outraged for somebody else on their behalf, saying this needs to be removed.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you're not even listening to the person. You're pretending to be outraged about.
Yeah, but you see that all the time. I see little memes or videos on the internet where the white kid is wearing this Mexican over-the-top garb at Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
And he's in a Mexican neighborhood and they're loving him. They're like,
Right.
yeah, they're drinking beers and he's throwing down. As soon as he steps out into
As soon as he goes back to the white suburbs.
Yeah.
they're like, that's offensive. He's like, what? I was just chilling with Pablo and Jose.
Yeah. I was
These motherfuckers love me.
I was just in the barrio and they loved me.
Yeah.
They fucking
Come
loved me.
on.
I mean,
let it go.
walk down your food aisle. Uncle Ben is missing. Aunt Jemima's missing.
Listen.
But hey, all the white spokesmen are still on the boxes.
right.
Aunt Jemima hurt. I love me some Aunt Jemima.
And that's how we end up with
me that
ghetto
slave
gastro at Target.
Oh, God damn it.
I want that slaves.
Yeah, what was the name of that Target brand again?
Ghetto gastro. Dude, it is real. I walk down the aisles. It is real.
Damn.
And it is still on the aisles. I don't understand
I'm
it.
just waiting for them to get rid of Zatarain's. It's a matter of time. He's suspect. He's suspect.
What's that arrange?
Zatarain's is like a black guy playing the
It's rice.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's like a distinctively
Oh,
New
Zatarain's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zatarain. It's a distinctly New Orleans brand, and I don't know. I'm just waiting for some angry little pussy
Right, but
liberal
it's
to
probably
take
that
it.
Uncle Ben was made up and Zatarain's might be an actual person.
When I think of Uncle Ben,
Well-
I don't think of the guy in the rice. I think of
Uncle
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Uncle Ben, and I believe the person that played Aunt Jemima as well was based on an actual person.
Yeah.
So, congratulations. You did it, right?
Yeah.
Is that success?
You
Yeah.
ended all racism. Thank you.
It's not how it went down. It's not how it went down.
I don't know where racism started, but it wasn't the fucking
Yeah.
the rice and cereal
Yeah.
pile. That's
No.
not where it
So
started.
I know this week we have a little bit of sports to discuss, which is why I'm wearing my Air Force jersey that I only typically break out when I'm in Colorado at the actual football game. So this bad boy gets worn once a year. But I want to give him a shout out because my daughter was telling me they're 7-0
Nice.
and they just beat the Navy. And not only that, one of the young men playing on the team threw a 94-yard touchdown.
Jesus.
So he broke records, and they asked him after the game, this is hearsay, how do you feel about the game? He's like, I don't know, I did it right. They're like, you do realize you broke a record, right, for the school? He's like, yeah, could have played better.
That's right. Keep that mindset, young man.
You
That's
gotta
right.
you gotta be critical of your own performance if you wish to get better.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope. I know that we had some UFC fights going on as well.
They actually happened. Well, by the time you guys watch this, when we released the episode Wednesday, they happened today at 2:00 because the fight was in Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
And yeah, speaking of a shocking performance, Islam Makhachev fought Alexander Volkanovski, 145-pound champ versus 155-pound champ for the second time. Last time they fought, it was a war, back and forth. Went all 5 rounds. Some people argue that Volk could have got the decision.
Right.
This round, 3 minutes in, Islam throws a huge head kick, knocks Volkanovski unconscious.
Oof.
Ooh, and
Then walks away like this and tells the crowd to calm down. Ice cold. Ice fucking cold.
He's a fucking serial killer. But
I'm fine putting the pound for pound best fighter on earth crown on his fucking head.
He had said
I'm
in
fine
an
with it.
interview just recently that he felt like he gave Volkanovski too much respect after the fight and thinks that he should have gone at him much harder than he did.
Yeah.
And it appears that that's exactly what he did.
He went out and assassinated him.
Yeah.
He went out, wrestled a little bit, controlled the pace, and like it wasn't like Volkanovski didn't even make a mistake. His hand was up.
Yeah.
Islam just put the shin
just
right
went right
above
through
his
it.
hand, like on the side of his head. Like, it was just the top of the head.
Head kicks are nasty. The amount of force behind a kick is so much worse than a punch.
Well,
And Hazmat Chimaev in the co-main event just went out and put on a clinic. He just showed he's much bigger and much stronger. I mean, even 185-pound Kamaru Usman, he out-wrestled him and made it look easy.
Bro,
He made it look easy.
I'm looking at this card. Everybody with the name like Nurmagomedov won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won the night. Like it's Makachev,
The
Chimaev,
third
Nurmagomedov.
fight was bullshit, though.
Is this his brother? Said Nurmagomedov? Cousin?
Saeed, yeah.
Saeed.
Yeah.
Ah.
There's so many. I mean, there's another champion in another organization. I think it's Bellator, Usman.
I mean, you've had
Nurmagomedov. Like, it's just...
they got a whole gym of guys that all they did all their life was wrestling, and now they have an opportunity to like, oh, we could go over there
Show
and
our
bring this
skill
over
set.
there.
Yeah.
And once Khabib came over, now everyone knows, oh, that's a spot to mine for really powerful fighters.
Yeah, if you follow wrestling, like not professionally, but if you follow like international, like real amateur wrestling, everyone is known for years that the Dagestanis are no one to fuck with.
Yeah. Right.
Like they're from a region of Russia. They're really hard, battle-hardened people that do excellent. Whatever the hell they're doing in those training programs in the mountains of Dagestan, it works. And we're witnessing like a boom. Like throughout the years, like things change in MMA. Like you'll see certain regions, certain parts of the
Take
world doing
over.
better. We're in the Dagestani era. Like you're just starting to see it. I mean, there's guys at every weight division that are starting to make their mark. And I mean, fuck. I mean, you got Hazmat, who's Chechnyan, which is equally as terrifying.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna start seeing everybody from that part of the world just start stealing
I think
belts.
it's dope. I think it's dope.
Just stealing
because
belts.
what happens is it evolves the sport, right? Because when the Gracies really introduced jiu-jitsu, it took it from its infancy in MMA, and they were like, oh, this legitimizes it. This is a thing, grappling.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to respect. And then it went back and forth. You had your wrestlers, your BJJ, but like right now, that's what, like, you know, somebody needs to throw up the Gracie bat symbol. Somebody's got to come out of their camp, or some young BJJ fighter needs to come out and be like, all right,
No,
I've got the answer.
It's a different.
I don't know what the answer is.
It's a different type of training mentality. I think, and if what I had if I had heard is correct, the way that they do teaching, they do go hard, but also they do a lot, like every day, hours at a time of just drills, light drills, over and over and over. Just bury it into your mind so it's second nature for years.
Sure, that makes sense.
So the idea is that you're just always in there and you're always going over the motion and you're just making it ingrained that when the person goes this way, you go that way, and you're just ready to react
It's
before
second
they
nature.
do
Yeah,
anything.
that is one thing when we do drills during jiu-jitsu. It's like you'll see some people like almost complain, like, "Oh man, we're doing this so much." But like the one person in the room that doesn't complain is the wrestler,
Right.
Because like wrestling in like the drills in a wrestling practice, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all it is. Like you just go there to drill nonstop. Like it's building. It's like into your cells.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
when that's why like the takedowns they're so quick.
Yeah.
That's why they just go under your hips as
Yeah.
soon as they get you.
I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of drilling. I'm a fan of that repetitiveness to really ingrain that skill or that technique into your brain, into your subconscious. Like, I do find that most people tend to have like a group set of moves.
Yeah.
And those are the moves that you feel comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're tired, especially like let's say it's like the 4th round, and then that motherfucker looks at you from across the room like, "We're going." You're like, "Fuck, I'm not fucking around. I'm going to my A, B, and C go-to moves."
Yeah.
And and I think that's a part of like that's the stuff you feel most comfortable with because you practice it the most.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the answer is for some of these guys coming out of Dagestan because no one's figured them out yet. Like Khabib, unbeaten. Usman Nurmagomedov, unbeaten. Islam Makhachev. I mean, he has a loss outside. Like it was his first fight or something.
Yeah.
But since then, unbeaten.
You're gonna need somebody.
I don't know how you stop it.
Like when Chuck Liddell came in, and he
Good
had
example.
such comparative to everyone else at the time, stand-up defense to prevent getting taken down, and then
Right.
as soon as he hit the ground, he was getting up.
Back
He
up.
wasn't letting you keep. You're gonna need somebody to kind of come in with a strong anti-takedown game, specifically against wrestling.
Right.
But also an equally
to-
dangerous stand-up
Yeah,
game.
because if
Right.
you have to be able to prevent them from dragging you down to where their game is effective,
Because
because they are essentially, for the most part, specialized into wrestling.
Agreed.
Without a doubt.
But
And
you
like,
also need that unnatural ability of like a Dan Henderson, a Chuck Liddell that
Yeah.
when they put hands on you, you're going to
You got to put someone to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when the sad thing is, I think when like Dan and when Chuck were fighting, it's like the sport. It wasn't new,
Yeah.
but it was still growing. It was still
Sure,
developing.
sure.
Like in like now, I think it's got so much fame that you're seeing these athletes that instead of going to the Olympics, instead of going into wrestling, they're like, I'm gonna try this MMA
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see the motherfuckers of all motherfuckers coming out of Dagestan going
Yeah.
straight into, and like, I just don't like. You see how good these guys are when like, for me specifically, when Khabib went up against Justin Gaethje, Justin Gaethje's an outstanding wrestler.
Yeah.
Khabib toyed with him.
Yeah.
I was like, this is insane. Like,
Right.
and the fact that he had an arm lock in, but he transitioned to a triangle because he didn't want to break his arm in front of his parents. I'm like, oh my god! Like, what a gentleman. It's like I could have beat him this way sooner, but I beat him this way.
What
like, 3
a,
months
what a
ago.
lovely man.
Right.
How considerate.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I'm sure.
there's levels. There's levels.
I'm sure
and-
he said thank you as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, I'm like, there's levels to this, and
You need, well, part of what you also need is like real, genuine athletes to really start coming in. But as long as there are better opportunities financial wise to go to, if you are like a really gifted athlete, why are you going to go get punched in the head?
Right.
It's like, if you can really do other sports, you're going to pick another sport first before you fall into MMA. So MMA, at least here in America, in the Western world, it lands on people who are athletic, but who tend to be not athletic in a way that gets them into more higher paying sports. So when UFC starts really paying people more, and then they really got to weigh their decisions of like 10-year career here or a 10-year career here, man, I could really make a lot of money over here.
yeah.
And
they're getting there. I mean, their salaries have definitely increased.
because
over
when you
the
talk about
years.
like
Who's not getting there is the Olympics.
no,
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't pay you shit.
no, which is silly because the amount of money the Olympics makes, and to not really be giving it to the athletes,
It all goes to committee members.
it
Tough job they
and
got.
I have an idea.
it's
for
the same thing with the
Olympics.
college athletes where it's like, hey, those college athletes are the reason why a lot of those colleges, and especially for the very sports focused ones, make as much money as they do. The people buying season tickets, buying jerseys, and then zero of it goes to the athletes for decades. It's like this person here is literally making you millions of dollars a year,
Yeah.
and they get fuck all?
Yeah.
Really?
But look, even for the Olympics, right? A great idea is like, how about you build facilities that you don't have to shit on and take down later, and stop traveling to places that can't afford to have you there. If
Yeah.
you have, let's say, regions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 facilities, like, okay, here are the facilities. These are where we're going to do the Olympics, and we'll rotate.
So that
right?
way you don't have to knock down someone's neighborhood and put up.
Goddamn
Listen,
right.
there
an
is
arena
a-
that's going to be a bird sanctuary.
There is an island. I'm sure there is a
Really?
large enough island that nobody cares about that we could go in
It's called Dubai.
and just build a fucking world facility of like, hey, here is a neutral zone.
Yeah.
When it's time for the Olympics,
We go here.
ship them all in. Here's the
We
island.
call it Fuck Island.
Yeah, but you know what? With
No,
that
that's the wrong island. That
that's
one needs
Fuckboy
that one needs to
Island.
be paved over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Fuckboy Island.
Oh, damn.
But
All right.
no, you could essentially even, let's say you take like a place like the Philippines or a Puerto Rico or places like that where they need jobs, right? They need something to do. You can facilitate. This is where the athletes go to
Yeah.
train.
And
This
you
is
don't
where-
even have to have all of it in one spot. You can have, hey, here's where wrestling's done. Here's where swimming's done. Here's where this is done.
Yeah.
Like we already know different sports at different altitudes and training at different altitudes. Pick the best spot for the thing to be done.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why Colorado has one of the nicest facilities
Yeah.
because they found out
Training
due
at
to the
altitude
high
matters.
Elevation,
Yeah.
it's fantastic for you.
It does.
I mean, like when I go to visit, like you will see, like I'm scared to drive my car to the top of Pikes Peak, right? And there's motherfuckers on bikes, little bikes with like a dog in a backpack, riding all the way to the top of Pikes Peak in a bike, training for the Olympics, and I'm
Yeah.
like, out fucking rageous, because the elevation is just crazy. Number one, and then that kind of endurance
Yeah.
is pretty.
It's like we have to just stop pretending that these are amateur athletes for the Olympics. These are professional athletes.
Yeah.
Treat them and pay them as such. It's silly to stop to try to pretend like no, these are amateurs. No, they're not. We get it. This is a globally participated in event that semi simulates war. We get it.
Yeah.
It lets you all play together
In the
and
same
lets you all do the
sandbox.
things, and everybody's gonna cheat as much as they're able to cheat and get away with.
We're looking at you,
We
Russia.
we get it. We
China.
see what it is. Can we just stop fucking pretending
Yeah.
that it's something that it's not, and actually treat the athletes and what it is for what it is?
Yeah.
And can we change some of these sports, like that they so-called cold sport, like some of the activities that we've been watching over the years? Cool, I understand. Like when you watch something like figure skating, I'll never do it, but when I watch it, I'm like, that's athleticism.
My ankles hurt so fucking.
As soon as you
Crazy.
get on a pair of ice skates, you realize, oh wow, they do three.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
fucking
The
difficult.
fact that a
Get
human
it.
being can be thrown through the air by their partner, spin like 6 fucking times, and land on one foot and not
Yeah.
shatter their tibia and fibula.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
We got boxing, right?
My career ends right there.
Yeah.
When you spin my hips through the air and I come down and both the bones just snap through the skin, that's it. That's fucking it. Thank you for showing up.
Right? Amazing. Throwing a ball a long distance, we can
Hey,
get rid of
man.
that.
Big
We can
girls
get
gotta
rid of
have a
that.
sport.
We can get eating contest. So we got the javelin.
Listen, if you're a 300-pound girl, you're not going to be spun by the hips and thrown.
Okay.
There is several throwaway thing as far as you can activities.
Here's how you
Javelin, discus,
Discus, yes.
you know the shot
Maybe-
put.
Maybe they should go to the Highland Games. That's actually.
Listen, here's how you make
that's
it more
that's
Highland Games are
interesting.
kind of
They are kinda-
entertaining
they are
because some of
entertaining.
it is like move this really big thing or
Flip
throw
the
this
tree.
really big.
Yeah.
Flip the
The
fucking
log,
tree.
the log
Oh,
is great. You're like,
God.
is this thing gonna fall on them?
These guys flip a fucking tree.
Okay, listen,
like, all right.
hear me out. Hear me out.
Throw the stone as high as you can. Like, wow, it's a great.
This is how you make the javelin more interesting. You put your opponents on the other side where you're throwing the javelin, right? No, you give them
Well-
shields so they have the ability to defend themselves, like
Here,
Spartans,
here's the thing.
right?
They do the javelin just for distance. Why not distance and accuracy? Put some fucking targets out there that are moving.
Yeah.
Like the javelin was to go
Convicted-
get some food.
convict-
Show them hitting something.
Convicted felons with a blindfold on. They're out there just hands tied behind their back, just fucking running.
I mean,
Are you
I-
saying the Hunger Games?
no, these are felons.
Yeah.
That's
These
how it
people-
starts.
these
That is how it starts,
Well,
sir.
what happens when you run out of felons?
They're not randomly
What happens when you-
chosen.
Yeah, District
You
4.
look at their crimes.
District 4, please
You
step
look
up.
at their
The
crimes.
running man.
All right. Death row. Death row. Okay, this guy's on death row. He's been on death row for 5 years. This guy's been for 4 years. We'll take the 5-year guy first. We'll put him out there. He goes. He had his chance at life. He had his chance. He fucked up. He's either going to stay in there till they decide to execute him and spend our tax dollars, or he can get hit by a javelin from Miss Germany.
Go out with a little glory.
Miss Germany can hit him with a javelin.
Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't tune in.
Oh, I would tune in.
Miss a javelin match. I wouldn't miss a javelin.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you could do like javelin versus shot put. Like, you could be throwing them at the same time.
Oh, imagine getting hit by a shot put.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
No, but I think that they definitely can step up some of their events, like what we're saying, spice them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Bring back the attraction to
Every now and then they added snowboarding. I'm not sure if they added or if they're still looking to add skateboarding. The problem is sometimes they add, for instance, skateboarding, and they don't quite understand how to score it, because as much as skateboarding is technical tricks, there's a level of like figure skating style and interpretation of how the trick is done that also matters. So you
get what you had with the Japanese guy.
You gotta bring in proper judges from that sport to also judge it. You can't have
TV's done it for years, have they not? Or like GTV? What was that channel that
X Games on it.
Yeah, they had the X Games. You bring in those guys. They know what the fuck they're doing.
X Games does it. Nitro Circus guys, they got their own tour. The thing is, the Olympics doesn't want to do that. They want to bring in their own guys.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of problems when they did that with the skateboarding, with the way like the rules were set up and the way they would run certain the competition was set up and things like that. Like,
well, particularly with boxing, Olympic sports have been corrupt for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, God knows how many times do you hear about people getting robbed in gold medal matches, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It often happens, not to point fingers, at the countries where it takes place.
Yeah, of course.
I watched Puerto Rico get robbed by China in the Beijing Olympics.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican kid was beating the absolute shit out of the Chinese kid, and after the CompuBox numbers were in, I was like, that's not fucking right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I remember watching the match late at night, watching the Puerto Rican kid land fucking jabs, and watching the CompuBox go up when the Chinese kid scored. And I'm going, what the fuck is going on?
Wait a second.
Is the sensor in his helmet wrong? No, that was a jab for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
They robbed him. Puerto Rico got silver, but I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Yeah.
I forget how old I was.
and that's why you gotta move it to a neutral territory, because whenever they have it in a country, you always realize, oh, that country did a little better than they did in other Olympics that were not hosted by their country. And
Chinese gymnastics.
Maybe you can say home turf advantage and all that, but also cheating because you're at home and it's easier to cheat at home than another fucking country. You built the facility, you know where you can cheat from.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you pick a spot that's like, hey, they could use the economy, right? Build up jobs. You're like, hey, you guys are neutral territory. This is kind of your coal mine, so to speak. Like, this is where you guys can make some money, do the thing, become experts in it. You don't bring your judges from other countries. Like, you guys don't participate, but you do judge.
Yep.
And, like, you could do that in several areas and then, stimulate that economy and keep it fair as you can. Because people are going to cheat.
Russia. Look at Russia, where they had state-sponsored cheating.
Yeah, they built a whole mechanism for cheating.
They're professionals.
They were professional cheaters, like professional.
You almost got to respect that a little bit, right?
Yeah,
like
they even figured out how to beat the International Doping Association. They were good. They were really good.
Speaking of, Usada is leaving the UFC.
Hey,
they're gone. Are we talking Pride Days again?
We're
bringing Pride back?
If all the guys magically are then 15 pounds heavier than they were 2 years ago,
Vitor's coming back.
I was gonna say it's Vitor. He's coming back, and who's the other one? That big dude that fought
Overeem.
Ubereem. Ubereem.
Shit is gonna get real interesting.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Look, you know what though? Put it on the board. Let everybody use the same supplements. Get yourself where you gotta be and fucking go to war.
Yeah.
At least just make it the same across the board.
I miss the Pride days, man.
Pride, man. I
Fucking
sometimes watch
circus.
some of those. Like, I have a DVD. It's like 150 best knockouts.
Yeah.
And like 149 of them were from Pride.
It's because you got like a fucking, you have like 150-pound like bus station worker against this like 7-foot Brazilian basketball player. It's like, what is this fight? Like,
And
oh my God,
Jacob with 30 undefeated matches. John, we just pulled him from the back in the concession stand. Who said he blacks out. Nobody fucks with him.
He sees red.
He sees red. Yeah.
Speaking of, did you see that Thai bar that's been going around on Insta? They have a ring in the middle of the bar, and you can get discounts if you choose to fight another patron.
Oh God.
That's at the place. They give you headgear and gloves. They stick you in the ring.
Awesome.
And you can fight for a discount.
Listen,
fucking awesome.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Some of the videos are rough. Some people are like, oh, you had some training. And they didn't.
Like, they're waiting in the back room. They're like, yes, please sign up.
I feel like that's a bar like a bunch of psychopaths would go to. Like, oh, I can't wait to get on this.
It's fucking great. But it's kind of like that in the gyms,
Packed.
right?
I'd go.
Right? It's like that in the gym. Like, every time there's a new white belt that walks into a gym, and this is every gym, and everybody's sizing that white belt up. You're watching the way that they move, how they react. You're looking at that person like, did he just put a knee on belly? How the fuck he know a knee on? He said he never trained a day in his life. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we just had there was another kid at a gym that, like, he was just moving. And, like, man, you said you never fought before. And he's like, oh, no, I never did jujitsu. Well, what have you done? A little bit of boxing, a little bit. Like, all that shit does
It does add up.
It does. Awareness, skills, just the ability to pick up on the training. Like, it does add up, except for Taekwondo. It's pretty bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's
Taekwondo. Sorry, how many Taekwondo UFC champions do we know of?
One. Machida was a Taekwondo background, right?
I think Machida had his own weird form of Machida karate.
And then,
what's
his
Anthony
name?
Pettis. Anthony Pettis was a Taekwondo guy.
Was he?
As he was coming up, yeah.
But was he? Or did somebody just pay him in the back? They're like, bro, please. I'm trying to keep my gyms open.
Hey, man.
I just opened my third.
He says he was Taekwondo. Yeah. We can do it.
We're going to have to do it. Shit. Help us, Shay.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Taekwondo UFC fighters.
It just got to be fucking hilarious. But you were saying, sorry.
No. I don't even know what I was saying now.
But there's
why
very few.
Why are you shitting on Taekwondo?
Taekwondo, like Aikido. There's no like Aikido champions up there. You know what I mean?
There may not be that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though Steven Seagal was at the fights today.
I mean, Aikido works against Aikido.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good for what it is, right? Hey, look, you want to learn something, you want to practice. I'm all for it. Like, everybody, choose your martial art, run with it. But when it comes to what's really, truly effective, MMA has really shined a light on. These are the things that, push comes to shove, you should learn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And a lot of those older ones, Taekwondo, Aikido.
Boss Rutan.
Was Taekwondo?
Boss Rutan is a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh,
Edson Barbosa.
A black belt in Taekwondo?
Yeah,
but is he...
Benson Henderson, but, I mean...
Is he using Taekwondo?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Valentina Shevchenko began training Taekwondo at the age of 5. Rose Namajunas. Yair Rodriguez.
Right? Yeah. How many of them are actually using it in the ring, though? That's the thing.
Do you see that front face kick that just
like I know Machida used Taekwondo, whether it was a weird form of it or not. He was genuinely using it and actually successful.
Anderson Silva is a 5th Dan black belt in Taekwondo. 5th Dan. That's pretty fucking high.
I mean,
how many Dans do you need?
I don't know. And number 1.
So he made it so
Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis is 3rd degree black belt. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's there.
Okay.
It's mixed.
It's there, but
mixed
was it? I mean, were they all starting it at the age of 5, ending at the age of 9, and then moving on to a real martial arts?
You can't deny the leg ability and flexibility that you get from Taekwondo. That's apparent.
Sure.
But when it comes to like anything punching,
practical,
Taekwondo is just. I mean, you watch Taekwondo matches, and I am no fighting expert. But I watch them, I go, ooh, that punching is sloppy.
Yeah.
That is really rough to watch.
Point fighting, yeah.
No, especially even more with the point fighting. I mean, they got actual Taekwondo fights. But like the point fighting is even worse because that waters it down to the point where like you're trying to tap a person, and God forbid you hit him too hard, like what happened at the Olympics. You get disqualified for knocking out the guy. The guy walked into a hit, got knocked out. He gets disqualified. He's the one that fucked up. He leaned into a hit. So you're telling me if I just stand there and lean into every punch, I should get first?
Right.
Because I got knocked out a couple of times? Like, what the fuck is that?
So what you're saying
that should be a strategy.
I can win by losing?
Just throw yourself
Charge your face first into every single shot.
So what you're saying is Taekwondo is a no-contact fighting sport?
Yes.
I guess.
It is. When you do point Taekwondo, that is essentially it. You're supposed to hit the person, but as light as possible. Which means you could do hits to spots of the body where you're like, I really wouldn't fucking do nothing if you actually hit somebody. Like,
I smell bullshit.
that's not a chin.
Yeah.
That's not a liver shot.
Yeah.
You might have tapped him, but fuck you. That's not really a point.
I'll give Taekwondo this. It's the gateway drug to other martial arts, right?
It was.
It is the weed of
Thank you,
martial
Bruce.
arts,
Bruce
right?
Lee movies was the gateway to Taekwondo.
It really was. And so if it just did that, if that is the only thing that it did, it is a stepping stone into discipline and into the martial arts world. So be it. It does have a place.
I mean, let's be honest. Taekwondo.
Fair enough.
They're in a spot
good.
now
Fuck Taekwondo.
where somebody can come out and really start.
I hope somewhere there's like a 15-year-old girl that takes Taekwondo, that listens to the podcast, that challenges Nelson to a fight.
Well, I mean,
in that case, Eddie's in.
listen, somebody's got to come and bring Taekwondo back to its roots. Somebody's got to come in and be like, listen, we got to stop just handing out belts because you came in for 3 months. That doesn't mean anything. Do you actually know the technique? Are you skilled enough that you know the technique and you can now teach the technique?
Sure.
I watched a redneck beat the shit out of a Taekwondo instructor outside of a Chinese restaurant in York, Pennsylvania.
I rest
That
my
was
case.
in front of his students.
Did
That
he
was
yell
bad.
Locke's life?
No, this was Pennsylvania.
life.
This is different. Yeah.
So, okay, so why don't...
He got beat horrendously. I was like, oh.
I mean, it's
That's
fucked up.
not good.
It's fucked up to say, but
That's not going to be good for this month's sales. Oh, Jesus.
Every now and again, when you see that guy in the neighborhood that's just like, I'll fuck anybody up,
Yeah.
and then
My mentality.
you see him get his comeuppance, there's a little part of your soul that's just like, this is right with the world right now. This is everything good and wholesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But look, okay, so here's what we could do. Let's start a gym, the three of us, right? Teaching Taekwondo. We got to take it back to it.
No.
Hold on a second.
You have to, like,
We'll
announce
call
your...
this place.
Listen, I have all the qualifications of a 10-year-old with a black belt.
Listen, I got a great name for the
That's
place.
fair. I can point
It's called
fight.
Cobra Kai, right? We'll
No,
call it
no. Way too much copyright. No.
All right, Mr. Miyagi's.
Mr. Miyagi's. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And not to copy him, we'll sell Calusias in the front.
Yeah.
That people can trim up.
I do have a ponytail. That make me sensei? What the fuck?
No, I mean, look, there's a place for everything, right? But when it does come down to the reality,
I mean,
it
out of
all,
like the
some sports, some martial arts are just better than others.
out of those martial arts that came like to the United States, like when they started to emerge in the 60s and 70s, I would say Taekwondo's among the better ones. I mean, you have Taekwondo, you
Kung
have
Fu.
Tang Sudo, you have all different types of Kung Fu, like Wing
Yeah.
Chun and shit. You have all different types of Japanese karate, Kyokushinkai, Shotokan.
Judo.
Yeah.
Judo is super effective. And
Yeah.
it's still used. Jiu-jitsu we won't count, even though it's Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Even
Yeah.
judo, I would say.
Aikido's on the more useless end.
Judo-
Aikido and Hapkido both
I would
kinda
say
suck.
judo, when it first came in, was more effective than now because they made certain maneuvers illegal to avoid certain grips illegal to avoid other sports
Yeah.
coming in to their sport. Which to me, it means
It
you're
weakens-
taking
it weakens
away
your sport.
you're
It weakens
taking
your
away
sport.
opportunities and positions because you don't like that other sports can fight your sport effectively.
Well, judo really upset me when they took away leg attacks. They were
Yeah.
like, you can't
Yeah.
you can't go for a takedown anywhere below the waist.
Yeah.
And I was like, they
Yeah.
did that because there were D1 wrestlers that were literally entering judo tournaments.
just
and
double
winning,
legging
winning.
motherfuckers.
They were double legging
like
everybody.
I get like the scissor drop in, where you're trying to sweep the person
Yeah.
and you mash somebody's knee and they're forever fucked up.
Yeah.
I get removing those, but when you can't do a cross collar
Yeah.
and you can't try to double leg, listen, what you need to do at your sport is instead of removing things because it's less effective against these guys, you need to take what they're also teaching and bring it in to either fix
To
your
incorporate.
defense or to fix your offense.
Yeah, how about teaching your students to stop a double leg? Because that's not a rare thing.
No.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fucking common
It's a
thing
very
that you
common
can
thing.
encounter.
I love a bad double leg.
Let
That
me-
is such an easy oh man,
so
I
let
end
me-
up on top. It's great.
Let me ask you guys right here. Okay, so just answer with effective, not effective. Okay, I got the 15 martial arts in the United States that are taught the most.
All right, so
okay?
now effective versus what? An untrained opponent?
Effective as in you would want to learn it, use it. Like, hey, you got 3 years, you're gonna get into a street fight.
Okay,
Right.
so pretend you have 3 slots.
Okay, yes.
Are you going to upload this into one of your 3?
Okay,
Consider it.
Perfect.
Got
Okay.
it.
Muay Thai,
Effective.
Yeah.
effective.
Tried and
agree.
true.
I
Tried
agree.
and true. Effective.
Right to the gold. Taekwondo,
Not over
not
Muay Thai.
effective.
Not ever.
Not effective.
Parts of it are effective, but I'm not going to make it one of my 3. No.
So not effective.
No.
So not effective. Just say not
Such
effective.
good kicks, though. Fuck. I don't know, man.
Not effective.
Neutral. I'm neutral.
okay.
I would say Muay Thai
Muay
knocks
Thai.
out karate every single
Okay.
time.
Yeah, in most cases.
Next
yes.
one. Tai Chi, not effective.
Like, no, the park, no.
Not
Fuck
effective.
Have you seen that? No, have you not seen Man of Tai Chi with Keanu Reeves?
Listen,
It's very effective in that movie.
For lowering stress and getting old people moving.
For the elderly?
Very effective.
For the elderly.
Very effective.
Over 60, it's a yes.
Over 60,
I'm
yes.
you know what? I'm starting to get old. My joints hurt. Yeah, it's effective. That's effective.
Kickboxing, effective.
Yeah. If you start looking at because it's like a derivative of Muay Thai, it's used in Europe and stuff. Yeah, it's effective.
Effective, yeah.
If you're training kickboxing, it works.
At the right gym, kickboxing is still taught properly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Karate.
I would say if you're going the whole entire style.
It's saying focuses on strikes, kicks, knee strikes, open hand, and technique.
I'm gonna go with effective because like Kyokushinkai. Those guys are brutal.
I could say that
Yeah.
karate could be effective.
Yeah.
I could say that. I
Yeah.
could say that. Another kung fu, effective.
Yeah, but it's borderline. And you
It's-
got those fucking guys out there doing like the magic hit and like the
Yeah, it starts getting a little funky
so
once you start getting to that
When you're dealing
stuff.
with magic hands, it's ineffective. But kung fu does teach a lot
that
of.
bald guy on YouTube, Master Wong.
Yeah.
That fucking guy does Wing Chun. That guy's effective.
Yeah.
That guy fucked somebody up. but
Kung
he's-
fu does also teeter into weapons. Like they do use nunchucks,
Are we-
bow staffs,
You can't just-
swords. I'm just saying
Are
that
you gonna
that's
walk
a part
down the
of.
streets of fucking Chicago with Guan Yu's warblade on your shoulder? Like,
This
Have you seen the amount of swords?
This
I
isn't
have?
1600 in Japan. You can't
Yeah.
just break out a sword.
Aikido.
in general,
Aikido.
I'm
No.
gonna go with
Ineffective.
ineffective. Not just because of
Ineffective.
my undying hatred of Steven Seagal. I'm
Yes.
never gonna grab your fucking shirt. I'm gonna say it's ineffective.
Judo.
Effective.
Effective.
Yeah.
Effective. Kendo. That's bamboo
I'm
swords
gonna
and protective
go.
armor.
I'm gonna go ineffective just because of the lack of people using swordsmanship.
A sword
Ineffective.
is very effective.
Yes. I mean,
It's
unless,
very effective, but I think you would get arrested if you were walking around with a wooden sword.
unless somebody breaks in your house and you're sweeping at that very moment.
If you get on the bus and you have a sword on you, I am not sitting next to you,
Okay.
and I'm going to have an
What if
easy
you're
eye on you.
What if you're at Disney and you have a lightsaber and Kylo Ren walks by you? Is it effective or ineffective?
Well, now we're in a world where fictitious Star Wars people are real.
Now, I gotta
no,
say,
no, he's still a character. He's a man playing a character.
I'm gonna say
in
the
a suit.
Kylo Ren character is not as good as you train with Kendo.
Yeah,
He knows a couple of flares, but he's not the guy that does the acting.
Just trying to find some effectiveness.
I'm a big fan of samurai movies. I love anime, but no, Kendo is
No,
not effective.
okay. Krav Maga.
Oh, it's tough with everything going on in the world right now with Israel and everything, but I'm gonna say,
I think if you're learning Krav Maga over in Israel,
Yeah.
you're probably learning very effective.
Yeah, I would say
Hand to
effective.
yeah. If you're going like real world situations where a knife defense, gun defense,
Yeah.
Krav Maga's effective. It's an actual special forces. martial
Next
art.
one is Wing Chun.
For the most part, I'm gonna go ineffective. No disrespect to Bruce Lee.
Ineffective, I would have to say.
I would just say if
ineffective.
you matched it up to karate and you matched it up like if I had to pick between Wing Chun and karate, I'm going with traditional Japanese
Yeah,
karate.
yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, if you had to choose
Yeah.
between Wing Chun and traditional boxing, you would go boxing.
Boxing.
I would say,
Well, yeah,
all
it's,
day long.
I mean, the fucking
Yeah.
Wing Chun, they got that dummy, and like it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's
That's
I
the
don't
next
know.
one is boxing.
Yeah.
Effective.
Effective.
I mean,
Yeah.
and most of the time in an actual street fight, I would go with boxing over karate.
Yeah.
And I
If you
they
know
don't have-
boxing, as long as that other person doesn't know how to kick,
Mm-hmm.
you're pretty good.
Also,
Yeah.
boxing, it's so much sparring.
It's
It's so much
devastating.
live action. Every
Yeah.
day, every practice, it's live action sparring. You're going to have instincts that a guy who's karate point fighting or breaking boards isn't going to have.
Have you ever seen the fight between Ip Man and Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fictitious fight. However, the choreograph is fantastic because
Yeah.
you can see like even though he's delivering barrages of blows, Mike Tyson's like bing bing bing, one solid shot, bang, staggers him. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, that seems at least in the realm of reality towards a fight. All right, the next one is Jeet Kune Do.
Talking about Bruce Lee's
As
thing.
The
Bruce
way of
Lee.
the intercepting fist. I'm going to go with ineffective. Because
Ineffective.
I would say this: if you're going by the principles in which he had created, which was take in everything, get rid of what's ineffective. The real principle of Jeet Kune Do would be to actually go through this list and learn all of these things
Right.
and get rid of the shit that's bad
I think
and
that
keep the stuff
I
that's
think
good.
that was my high school quote. Have no way as way and set no limitations.
So I mean, there are very few
man.
legitimate Jeet Kune Do instructors. I don't know of anyone who's actually tried to bring it to
a lot of fat
like the
guys with
UFC.
ponytails.
Yeah.
A lot of
Well,
fat
the
guys
thing
with
is, there's a
ponytails.
lot of
Lot of yellow
fake
jumpsuits.
instructors. Bruce Lee only I think had a handful of people he actually trained, and only like one or two
Danny DeSanto.
are legitimate teachers of
Yeah,
it.
and isn't historically Ip Man,
His
like a
teacher.
real-
he taught Wing
he-
Chun to Bruce Lee.
but
when
he was a
young.
real
Yes.
person,
Yes.
a real
Yes.
champion.
Yep.
So they're like bringing it all the way back. Here's a man who absolutely made it an effective fighting skill for its time.
Yes.
Next one we have here is capoeira.
I'm gonna go with ineffective.
I would go with ineffective as well.
I mean, I respect it. Blah blah blah.
Ha-
It was
have
started
you
by slaves
ever-
in Brazil.
Sorry, Alexis. I know you did capoeira and you loved your dancing shoes, but
There
Plus, they need
is.
room.
yeah,
They gotta dance
yeah,
a little bit.
You
I've
can't
seen
fight
a-
capoeira in an elevator.
I've seen someone do capoeira in MMA ring, and when that foot connected, that motherfucker was in a different universe.
They can generate a lot of force, but so can Taekwondo.
yeah,
That's
the
why-
force that's generated is crazy,
Sure.
but you do need a lot of room to dance.
And you need a
to,
drummer. You need a drummer.
Yeah,
Somebody's gonna
hold
play
on
the
a
drum.
second.
You
Hold
can't
on a
even fight.
second.
You can't even fight unless the guy starts
Girl,
drumming.
get down here. Bring the bongos.
Yeah. This dude's trying to fight me and fucking, at the Shake Shack. You
Yeah.
get your fucking drums down here.
The next one, we all absolutely, I'm going to say effective. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys fucking suck.
Get out of my house. Effective 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That being said, I think like Helio Gracie, like if he would have met Ip Man on the street, he would have beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, just because he'd be like, "What's this
Yeah.
takedown shit?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the only one that they left off the list, which I don't understand.
How they
is
keep
wrestling.
how they still leave wrestling off.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because some people get in the realm where they don't count wrestling as a martial art, which they're wrong.
It's
They're
a
wrong.
martial art.
absolutely
Yeah.
a martial art.
Boxing and wrestling are foundations for so many MMA and martial arts.
The question
Yeah.
becomes like how many, because at one point in time, these were legitimate, most of them martial arts that were actually effective.
Yeah.
But you had schools that would protect techniques, protect training methods, and then if you would lose it.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't get passed down or it moves to another country and they water it down because they're teaching, but they're not teaching everything. And you have that for so many years and generations where
Or
things that used to be effective, now they've been weakened to the point where like they're just for a show.
Yeah.
Or you get these like weird situations where like a martial art like migrates or gets taken from like a place of its origin, and then when it arrives at another place, it gets, I don't want to say perfected, but definitely improved.
Yes.
The best case
Yeah.
example is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where
Yeah.
it goes from Japan to Brazil. You get one creative mind on a farm in Brazil that literally
Yeah.
turns it into like arguably the world's most effective martial arts.
Yeah.
You have wrestling, which starts in Greece,
Yeah.
like in the Olympics, makes its way all over the world, but it finds itself to this little region in southern Russia called Dagestan,
Yeah.
where they turn into a fucking unstoppable force, is what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Muay Thai starts in Thailand, but somehow somebody sails to fucking Holland,
Yeah.
and it becomes a whole nother thing. And now,
Yeah.
like, some of the best kickboxers in the world are from Dutch, and they're
Yeah.
from Netherlands. So it's, I don't know, man.
The only other martial art that wasn't on the list that is not effective, but
Mexican
I
boxing.
Another
one.
I really wished it was, and it's ninjutsu, right? Like when we were kids, like ninjas
Ineffective.
were the shit, right? Come on, ninjas were the shit. But like I
You
would
would
love
carry
to
throwing
see.
stars and a shadow ball
Oh
with
yeah,
you?
there was. And wait, no, it wasn't just ninjutsu. There were no Buddhist monks in here either. So
Yeah.
right, like I
Kung
would
Fu.
love to see like a bald bead wearing Buddhist monk hop into the ring and do some like 5 fingers of death, and then just drop somebody.
That
Just
shit
one
don't-
time.
that shit
Just
don't work.
once.
That shit
Yeah,
Would that be
it's
too much to ask?
There is no death touch.
the thing is
It's 5
you would
fingers,
be
bro. It's 5
surprised
fingers
how
of death.
many Buddhist monks are. It's most of it is temporary. It's a time you serve to benefit your family. So you go in for a year or 2 years. So most, if I remember this correctly, most are not really there for a lifetime, and they're learning and doing training.
Yeah.
Most are there just praying, and they're there because it's culturally, it's like me serving here
Right, but I want the Buddhist
is
monks
something
to fight.
for my family back home.
I want the fighting monks.
Yeah, those are mostly not real.
Do you think there's a lot of gay sex in the Shaolin Temple?
Oh yeah. Why do you think they got the robes, bro? Easy access.
Yeah, and they got the anal beads right around
They
their
got
neck.
those. Yeah.
Those are very large beads.
Living in the mountains together?
And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom Podcast. Where Ian thinks of anal beads.
It's just a question. You know.
It's a valid question, but I will say this: I have seen a lot of videos where they do complete feats of strength.
Yes.
They're very heavy into the mind-body thing, where they can absorb a lot of pain.
But that's
they
also-
broke
You're
out
gonna
of
need
the
to with
room.
anal beads that fucking
But that actually tends to be very, very, very few. For like Thailand does the Buddhist monk thing, but most of the ones in Thailand they're serving time for their family,
Right.
because it's a religious rite you do like once or twice in your life. You go in for a couple of months, maybe a year.
Yeah.
Like you don't even go for a whole year. Like a lot of times it's a 30-day stay. You go in, you shave your head, you do
I
the
think your first anal bead experience, you're out. I'm out of this bitch.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
I'm not a Buddhist no
I
more.
signed up for shaving my head, sandals and a robe.
Yeah.
Nobody said this was not on the brochure.
My ass hurts and I'm bald.